Welcome to Fluxedo Junction. I'm Scott Kukler. Each episode, we bring you the best music of all genres from throughout the world, and this week we'll be speaking with Jim Faith, the founder and producer of the Great South Bay Music Festival that takes place this year at Shorefront Park in Patchogue, New York, from July 23rd through July 26th. This year's festival features a wide variety of artists, including The Used, Sublime, Gov't Mule, and My Morning Jacket, among many others. Jim Faith has been a fixture of the New York music scene since his days as a musician, but in more recent years, he's not only revitalized the arts and cultural profile of Long Island through his work with the festival, but also as a co-founder of the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame. He was awarded an Honorary Doctorate of Musical Arts from Five Towns College in 2021, and his work on behalf of several charities has improved the quality of life on Long Island significantly. So let's get things started with one of my favorite bands who are scheduled to play the festival on Sunday, July 26th. This is Little Feat with Easy to Slip, here on Fluxedo Junction.
The lineup this year is really diverse. I think it may be the most diverse lineup I've seen so far for this show. And I was wondering, because I remember in our past conversations, you were saying that the audience has changed somewhat over the years. You've been doing this long enough now that some of the people who started going to this show in the beginning have maybe started to begin aging out of going to large shows, and we obviously have a large number of younger demographic coming in. Is that what I'm seeing reflected in the lineup this year?
Absolutely. The fact is I guess it's because we've been around so long. We've been around 18 years. So in 18 years, a lot of things happen, a lot of things change, and oldies, to one person is a different oldies to another person.
Exactly.
So yeah, so what we realized a few years ago, and we always had a decent amount of classic rock people in there. And what we realized, the year that we had John Anderson from Yes, and we had Justin Hayward, and we had all these great, Martin Barr, we had all these great people from the classic rock world, and it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. We thought that was going to be a home run, and it just wasn't. And we also realized that a lot of people were drinking less, and people my age and people over 60, they're changing their what they consider quality of life, I guess. In most cases, I think they're sitting at the free shows in all the different parks all over Long Island and listening to a tribute band for free, bringing their whatever they're eating, drinking, or smoking, and and rather than pay $100 or so for a ticket and sitting in a crowd, when you get to be a certain age, it's not so attractive anymore. The young people aren't going out as much. It's just a fact. I teach at Five Towns College. I teach concert production.
That's where I went to school, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm noticing in a lot of the classes, a lot of the students, that they're not going out that much. They were in high school during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's what created so they're different, they're getting their music from different locations and different places where we used to get it from radio and TV and whatever, your parents, and now it's not that. They're getting their music from a lot of different locations and they're not all in the same place. And there's a lot of noise out there. So there's a lot of, there's so many reasons. And then we have the war.
Yeah.
There's and nobody wants to talk about. They'd rather blame it on the artists, why the ticket prices are so high, and that's it's because their prices have gone up. Touring is astronomical. With fuel, fuel and hotels, and they're coming back, and even though they're charging a lot more, for their fees, they're coming home and they're finding out in some cases that they didn't make any money, and so. Everybody's affected, but the war has a lot to do with it right now, and people are worried about Medicare and Social Security, and is a concert ticket really what I want to spend $100 on, or more? So those are some of the things that we're facing right now.
Well, it's all of this is not to say that there aren't artists on the bill that would appeal to people my age and older, because there's something that I'm interested in every single day. But the day I'm most interested in is Saturday, for a number of reasons. Obviously, the headliners, Government Mule, Bruce Hornsby and the Noisemakers. I mean, those are some of my favorites. Kerry Kearney, we've had on the show before. He's brilliant. There's a lot of other artists, but there at the bottom of the list I'm looking at, I'm seeing School of Rock Farmingdale is on the bill, and I teach there. So I actually have some students who are in that group. Yeah, that's going to be really
how
exciting.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
very
great
cool.
to know. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm very
Good for
proud of
us.
them. And Friday, we've got Sublime, which that's what I'm most looking forward to. There's a lot of great stuff on Friday, but Sublime is what I'm most looking forward to. I never got to see them at all. So, and I know that it's Bradley's son is singing with them now, right? So
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to that. Thursday, again, a lot of great bands, but I'm looking forward to Bayside. Back in the day, I knew a couple of those cats. So, there's something every day and every night for everybody, and it's a lot of different genres. And I just have to say again, I know I say it every year, but the vibe is so great. It's so comfortable. If you live on Long Island, why would you not go to this? I mean, unless, like you said, you're an older person, maybe you have some mobility issues, which I'm sure there's accommodation for anyway as well. But
Yep.
that is really the one festival that every year I'm like, I know I'm going to have a great time. It almost doesn't matter who the acts are. I mean, the acts are great, but the vibe there. And I always run into people, music industry people that I haven't seen in a long time. I always run into, we have a mutual friend, Norm Pruslin from WUSB. And, we talk pretty regularly online, but I only ever see him once a year. And it's always by accident. And it's always at your festival,
Yeah.
just wandering the grounds. It's like, oh, there he is. I knew I'd run into him.
Well, he runs the backstage. He
Yeah.
runs the
What a great guy. What a great guy. And I know that you guys work together on the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, of course.
Yeah.
I always like bringing that up. And I always like bringing up your involvement in different charities. You are one of the few music industry people on Long Island that I personally know who really puts his money where his mouth is and gives back to the community. And that's so important. That's really why I love doing this interview every year, because you deserve that recognition. And you probably don't even want it. The true value of charity is doing it without getting credit for it. But I want
That's
you to
right.
get credit for it.
Thank you.
And again, we've talked before about how you've you've been one contributing factor in the revitalization of Patchogue, the town itself, and that has spread throughout the island now. There are a lot of other communities that were sort of not doing as great, and then they saw how it happened in Patchogue, and they were. I'm thinking specifically of Bayshore as one of those towns. I live in Bayshore, and I grew up in West Islip, so I was never that far from Bayshore. But I remember when I was a kid, it was not such a great place to walk around, and now it is. And I feel like there's a domino effect. These communities are starting to invest in their artists and their younger people and just the community in general. And it's these towns are starting to become destination places again. And I think a lot of that starts with you and your festival.
Interestingly enough, in Patchogue, the year that we brought in our first festival was the first gala, and we brought Billy Joel into Patchogue. We brought Joan Jett and Billy Joel and Twisted Sister and and everybody, the Gershwin family and everybody. So that same year, doing both of those, or right around the same time period, really helped to make Patchogue a music town. And now we see what the difference is. It's
Yeah, I used to manage a music store in Patchogue back in the, I guess, early 2000s. And, everybody please be aware as I'm telling this story, Patchogue is not like this now. But I would take the train home from Patchogue, and I'd be waiting at that train station. I'd get on the train, I'd get home, then I'd turn on the news and read about a murder that happened right where I had just been standing. And it's totally different now. I mean, every band I know has got gigs in Patchogue, and like I keep saying, I think it all started with your festival. And I know that you've given credit to the local government there, and
Yeah.
obviously you have to have partners in this sort of thing. No one person could do it on their own, but I think you deserve a huge portion of the credit for that. And on behalf of Long Island, let me say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, a lot of that was, Paul Bonteri, the
Yeah.
mayor, and is,
Yeah.
he wasn't a politician when he got the gig,
Yeah.
so he approached it. All the fundraisers I would go to for him and his people it was always mixed. There was always Republicans there and Democrats and
Yeah.
everything. So I like that.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Be nice if
Right.
we could get back to that again. Yeah.
You would think, huh?
So who are you most looking forward to seeing? I know you're going to be working. It's probably going to be difficult for you to break away and actually enjoy an act. But if you can do it, who is it going to be?
Bruce Hornsby.
Yeah, me too. I met him once. He's a really nice guy.
Love him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm so
love
psyched
him so
on
much.
him playing this year.
And he's never stopped. I mean, a lot of them have never stopped.
Yeah.
But even though they never stopped, it really didn't matter anymore because, nobody cared anymore.
Right.
But then, I mean, he's just like, going from his own hits to The Dead and everything else he's done. I have his jazz albums. I
Yeah.
have his classical albums. I have all the other stuff. And his new album is actually great.
I love it. Yeah,
So,
I love it.
yeah, and the band is killer. The Noisemakers.
Yeah.
That's an amazing band. And so, yeah, I just love him so much. And I always have him playing somewhere, either on my phone or in my car or somewhere. I always have him, and I've been chasing him for a couple of years. So I'm also looking forward to my Morning Jacket.
Yeah, me
Who
too. I love
I've
that.
recently gotten familiar with, even though I always knew them, a couple of tunes,
Yeah.
but not really, because we're looking, that band is basically undefinable.
Yeah.
They remind me of a couple of other bands like Beck and Tears for Fears, and they cover a lot of grounds. They cover a lot of areas. I mean, they want to, and I realized this when we were trying to find support for them. So they were open to being with Psychedelic Furs, and they were also being with any jam band that we could have.
Yeah.
And I mean, so a band that can do that, just they're all over the place, and they wind up with Little Feat will open for them. It's their last year, so that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
They were very excited about that.
When I worked in the music industry, I started out in radio promotion, and I did what they call AAA radio, adult album alternative. So like here in the New York area, that would be like WFUV. And my Morning Jacket, were embraced by that format right away.
Yeah.
Right away, and that's no accident. I mean, their flexibility and the appeal in multiple genres, I think, is what works for them. Listen, I know how busy you are. You've already given me more time than I expected, and I really appreciate it. I just want to thank you because it's year after year, consistently great entertainment, and great facilities. Everything is well organized. Everything is safe. Everything is clean. I can't stress that enough about a festival. I've been to so many festivals in my life, and half the time the music was amazing, but the experience was horrible. And Great South Bay Music Festival, the experience and the music both are on an equal level. And I just want to thank you. The love and the care that you put into it is obvious. And just thanks for your time.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of another episode. I'd like to thank Jim Faith for joining us today. Don't forget that the Great South Bay Music Festival is coming up on July 23rd, and it runs through July 26th. You can check it out on the web at greatsouthbaymusicfestival.com, and you can check us out on the web at mixcloud.com/Fluxedo-Junction. Once again, my name is Scott Kugler. This show has been a production of ABCs of Music and is produced by myself, Jamie Malinowski, and Will Angeloro. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.